Hello, my name is John Wesley. I'm a student at Governor State University. And today I will be providing you with a presentation on my topic for my Java programming class, which is entitled Solving Data Reconciliation with Java Programming. And this is for my spring 2017 project being delivered on April 30th, 2017. The problem. There are many issues that HR and benefit professionals have to deal with regarding fixing data errors. The end result of those errors often have a significant downstream effect when the information that is exchanged between multiple platforms is not accurate. So in essence, this creates disruption within the HR and benefits department due to the time that's allocated to fixing these particular errors. Additionally, the downstream effect results in employees and their dependents being frustrated. And they're frustrated because their information about their eligibility is not correct. This results in issues whereby these individuals cannot access their healthcare services that they need. A very prominent example of this issue often manifests itself when employees and their dependents are put in a situation where they have to pay significant out-of-pocket expenses to get their prescriptions. So these are just simple examples, but again, the downstream effect that impacts HR professionals is very significant. The complaints from employees and their dependents can also overwhelm HR departments, which are oftentimes understaffed, overworked, and these types of issues prevent them from being able to focus on the more strategic initiatives that are necessary for the organization. From a broader perspective, the ancillary concerns which result from these errors that take place due to data file exchange can also become very overwhelming. For the HR professional, just coordinating the exchange of data is difficult because very often organizations have disparate systems. So there are file feeds from the organization's system of record to their insurance carriers. There are files that must be transmitted from insurance carrier to insurance carrier. Very often the deductions from employee paychecks are also incorrect. And again, this all has a negative downstream effect, which can be overwhelming for the employer and also overwhelming for the individual employee that needs to utilize these particular benefit solutions. Auditing the process can be very expensive and time consuming, and any sort of disruption in this particular area can also draw the attention of the regulatory bodies in this country. So this can lead to Department of Labor audits, breaches that are occurred from the FLSA, and then just overall, whenever these types of problems exist, the overall employee morale tends to dip, and productivity as a result is often negatively impacted. And as mentioned before, the primary reason why this is such a prevalent issue is because employers have a variety of disparate systems that they have to integrate, and just the overall need to integrate these disparate systems results in the propensity for greater errors to occur. So finding the means to integrate better is often not a realistic solution. So HR professionals, benefit professionals are placed in a situation where they need to find a way to quickly resolve the issues and keep employees and their dependents in a state where they can access their benefits in a much more effective manner. Traditionally, the process that's been involved to resolve errors is mentioned before, has been for employers to work with their various partners to fix errors, or to tackle the process in more of a self-service manner. So, whether that's utilizing Excel pivot tables or Microsoft Access, which is a database tool. I mean, these are traditional means that aren't always necessarily effective. So in thinking out of the box and in spirit with the Java programming course that I'm in, I wanted to take a look at some potential options that exist with regards within the context of Java programming that could potentially help benefit professionals find solutions to quickly resolve errors that occur through the data exchange process. So in doing so, two of the primary solutions that I've discovered rest with the utilization of the graphical user interface, or GUI, tools and resources, and also the dynamic data link tools that also exist within the context of Java programming. From a broad perspective, when you look at the graphical user interface, or the GUI, this is essentially a tool within the Java toolkit, whereby programmers can essentially utilize the Swing toolkit to essentially create a visual depiction of a certain set of methods, classes, information that could be very useful in the context of this particular discussion, useful for HR and benefit professionals to quickly identify errors. So when you look at the whole concept of the GUI, again, it's an interface that's used to display information in a more consolidated manner, and also utilized to produce output for the user to categorize information much more cleanly. The other Java tool or construct that I find particularly intriguing with respect to solving errors rests within the concept of the dynamic data structures. So this is a simplified approach to aggregating information, can be used to quickly organize information. And the reason that this is potentially attractive to those individuals that work in benefits in HR is that it's a simplified approach. I mean, it's, for the most part, when you think of programming, oftentimes that requires significant investment by IT resources, which isn't always feasible, just due to cost and due to the time that's necessary to allot to leverage those particular resources. So this is a quick programming effect that can potentially collect data, specify reference points, and then just create an easier process to search and modify those errors that occur. And speaking of errors, generally speaking, when data is exchanged between two platforms, the vendor will provide the end user with a report that assesses all of the various errors that may have occurred. And oftentimes these reports can be overwhelming, contain very dense amounts of information. So as mentioned, there's some opportunities that exist within Java programming to take that information, aggregate it, and put it into a much more useful context. Just as we look at the dynamic data links and such within the context of data, the program that I created to illustrate how this could potentially be used, I used a specific class called file errors as I ran the report. And basically, as you can see, in running through the program, it produced outputs which basically identified the error types and the number of errors that were found within that particular error report. So there's some integration that takes place behind the scenes in order to make that happen, which I haven't discussed within the context of this presentation, but just rest assured that there are means and resources that are available through the context of Java programming to achieve this particular. The advanced solution, again, utilizing a graphical user interface, is just a process by which frames and panels can be used to organize information. Data can be moved and manipulated through mouse clicks or movements of the mouse. And again, from a broader perspective, this is a concept that can be used to help those HR professionals just basically organize information in a much more concise manner. So just to conclude, the opportunities that exist with Java, because it's a ubiquitous software programming tool that's not going to be as cumbersome as some of the other customized software programming tools that are out there. There are opportunities that I believe that professionals can use to take advantage of this particular solution. And again, it's given the fact that when you look at today's environment, organizations are much leaner as it relates to their IT resources. Self-service is critical, and essentially professionals need ways to better help themselves. And I believe that utilization of the Java tool can certainly be part of that process. So thank you. I appreciate your time today, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.